Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time.
Okay.
Hey and Ale here in the studio. In studio hopping today. We've got Gab Marcotti joining us as well with a stuffed teddy or something behind him.
Well,
I don't think you can see it, but yes, we can.
I'm really happy that Gab was able to tidy up his office and really done a good job putting things together.
Well, as you may have noticed, it's a different background that I have because I've been repainting my office, sanding the floors. So we don't have the usual setup right now. I'm sorry, Ali, it's not up to your standard. But I will have you know that he's wearing an original Allen Iverson jersey.
Okay, well, in that regard, I guess that's good, I suppose.
Who even is he? Who is he? Who's your friend over your shoulder?
It's Allen. I imaginatively named him Allen, and that is an original Allen Iverson jersey behind him. Original as in the sense that I bought it in 2001, not that Allen Iverson would have ever worn it, because it is a double XL, and Allen was a little bit smaller than that.
All right.
Oh, nice.
I'm wondering where the legs are of this stuffed animal.
All right, let's get to the questions, and let me start with you, Ale. Which team would be more happy with today's result, Real Madrid or Atlético?
Barcelona. I suppose going into the match, Atlético Madrid, for whatever reason, I think they would have taken a point. And I've been criticizing that this team today could have actually shown a little bit more ambition because the spaces were there to attack Real Madrid. But coming into it, I think they would have taken a point. They walk out of it with a point. I suppose they'll be happier than Real Madrid, who always at home are thinking that they're going to get 3. Given how the game went, though, Real Madrid actually get back into it, tie the game up. I don't know that they're ever happy with a point at home, so I'm going to say by default, Atlético Madrid.
Let me ask you the same question, Gab, but I also want to know what your take was on the penalty for Atleti.
I think 100%. It's Atlético Madrid who are happier. If you're Real Madrid, you're angry. You're angry about the penalty. You know, we can have the penaltito debate. Did he step on his foot? Blah blah blah. I thought, it was a great point made earlier about how, it had to be enhanced for us to even get a question about whether he stepped on the foot. Yes, they have passed this directive that if you step on somebody's foot, it is a foul, because you have to go and you have to take care of the opponent and all this stuff. But clearly the dynamic here is completely different. Clearly, Lino is, to me at least, he's stepping forward into Tchouaméni's path. And yeah, Real Madrid not used to these penalties being given against them, and nor should they be, because that's not a penalty in my view. It's not something where you call the referee over for, put it that way.
Gab, today Manchester City held the ball in the corner flag to waste time against Leyton Orient. Even Pep was shaking his head. Has the morale of this team really dropped that low?
I was watching it. I think they're like, oh my God, we really do not want to be playing any extra time against these guys. We got a game coming up. It's Real Madrid. This is really the last thing we need. And I think that's all it was. I think when you're in a tough spot like that, that I don't think it's games against Leyton Orient that are going to turn things around, or, you can really only lose, morally, when you go away to a team like Leyton Orient, because even if you win 5-0, with the kind of run that they've been on, with the memories of the 5-1 in their heads against Arsenal, it's not going to change that. So you just want to go there, knock out the opponent, and go home. And that's what they did. So I'm not surprised that they were, messing around in the corner rather than trying to score a third.
And so, Ale, who's the favourite to qualify between City and Real Madrid at the moment?
No, Real Madrid. Real Madrid. And while there are issues for Real Madrid, and those are well documented, and the absences that they have and the injuries that they have, so on and so forth. But man, you watch Manchester City play, and it's tough. It's tough because we have seen the other version of Manchester City. So we have seen this team be far and away the best team in the world. And in a matter of months, it has gone completely the opposite direction. And it's hard. It's hard to watch Manchester City play and know that more than likely, they're going to be in trouble. That more than likely you thought that they were going to win games in the past. Now, more than likely, you know that they're going to struggle in a match. That is a dichotomy right there. That we're talking about polar opposites.
Same question to you, Gab. Who's the favourite to qualify?
Oh, I think Real Madrid are favorites. There's no question about it. Now, are they big favorites? No, because it's still Real Madrid, because it's still Manchester City. But, I feel like in the Champions League, even if both teams were at full strength, which they're obviously not, you would still probably generally lean Real Madrid anyway. On top of that, City with the issues that they have, with the negative vibes, with this sort of rough period, which some results have turned around, but in terms of performances, they're really not where Pep wants them, or even where they were earlier in the season. It's got to be Real Madrid, who are on paper slight favorites.
Gab, is Thiago Motta's disastrous season going under the radar?
It's not going under the radar in Juve land, let me tell you that. And I think it's funny because you can either lose games and drop points and whatnot while doing it, being conventional and playing conventional football, or you can do it the way he's doing it, where he says, "Oi, let me go, let me be different, let me stick Vlahovic on the bench, let me play Nico at center forward." We even saw Tim Weah at center forward. And I know they've had injuries. I don't know that Lloyd Kelly and Renato Vega are the answers here. People are looking at this and they don't quite understand what's going on. They don't understand how it's possible that somebody like Teun Koopmeiners could have gone forward backward the way he has. And look, for now, hey, enjoy Colomwani. He scored a bunch of goals. He just arrived. Is he the answer up front? I'm not sure. He seems so different from Dusan Vlahovic and really from what's needed in a Motta team. But everything about this season has been very unorthodox, very unusual. And I think generally when you decide to be a little bit different, people like me, especially if you're the Juve manager and you're used to doing things a certain way for a long time, people like me will give you the benefit of the doubt, because I want to see Thiago Motta succeed. But yeah, the football's been pretty rough.
Okay. Ale, start, bench or drop these midfielders. Pedri, Bellingham and Wirtz.
Wow.
Good luck.
Wow. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I can start all three of them, to be honest with you. In my team, I can start all three of them. Why would I bench any of them? Boy. I've always had a soft spot for Pedri.
It's your son.
And he is back to a level of fitness and level of performance that we had come to expect from him. And so I'm going to take Pedri to start. Wirtz is flying right now, but I'm not taking him above Bellingham.
Okay.
So I'm going Bellingham, and then I suppose I'm dropping Wirtz, but Wirtz is coming up and he's catching up quick.
Yeah, and before I put this to Gab, it's an interesting point that came up in our coverage today in the Bundesliga, is that Uli Hoeneß, the Bayern honorary president, has been saying, my dream is to have Florian Wirtz, but you think that could be a dream?
Well, because Uli Hoeneß is looking at it from the perspective of, if you're a great player in Germany from somebody else other than Bayern Munich, naturally, you're going to end up at Bayern Munich. That is the pathway. That is direct beeline. You're going to end up in Bayern Munich. My conversation and my point to Uli Hoeneß would be, the market for Florian Wirtz, I think, goes beyond Bayern Munich. And I believe that there will be other teams outside of Bundesliga that will be lining up to get Florian Wirtz, because that's how talented and how good of a player he currently is, and actually will continue to get better.
Yeah, but you dropped him today.
Well, this was an impossible choice.
Yeah, it was impossible, which is why, Gab, you're not getting away with it. You have to answer that question too.
Funny enough, I also have a soft spot for Pedri. I might start Bellingham just based on the whole premise that, he's more of an all-rounder, maybe more of a physical player. And then maybe we put Pedri on the bench and we drop Wirtz, with the notion that, with Wirtz, the best is yet to come. If he moves to a different team and is surrounded by even better players than he is now. Although, mind you, obviously, Bayer Leverkusen as a team, pretty darn good. But I do wonder if you surround him with, I guess what I'm saying is more talented players, could he take it to a different level? Rather than just very good players and an exceptional coach as he is now at Bayer Leverkusen. I don't know, but yeah, I think this may well be the toughest start bench drop that I can remember on the show.
It's definitely stumped you both almost, but they answered it. Good spots. All right. Which team has been the most disappointing this season, Gab? Spurs, Dortmund, or Milan?
All right, so I'm actually going to say Milan. Now, the reason for that is Dortmund, let's face it, it's a car crash, right? It's been a car crash for some time. Even when they look good going forward, they have issues at the back. All those guys, the so-called smartest guys in the room with their signings and their young players and whatever, this year's just falling apart. And I don't want to say you could see it coming, but you kind of could. Is really this the year where you double down on Anton and Guirassy and try to win straight away? I don't know. Spurs have been hugely disappointing. They've also had an enormous amount of injuries. So maybe that's their get out of jail free card. Milan, I think, have been disappointing because I feel like they've done a 180 in the middle of the season. You start one way with Fonseca and young players and value and so on, and then you end up with João Felix and Kyle Walker. And then you're asking yourself, wait, what happened to the grand plan here? Is this all Zlatan saying, I'm the boss, midway through the season? You fire one Portuguese manager because he can't control Leao and Theo Hernandez, and the new guy comes in, wins the Super Cup, and smokes a cigar, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's got issues with those two guys as well. You remember, dropping them. Now it seems like bridges have been repaired with Theo or whatever. That's disappointing because I think this is the year that Milan could probably have kicked on and challenged for the title. And look, I don't know if they'll challenge for the title, but I do expect them to finish top four. But I always find when in mid-season you go off in a different direction and, start signing big names when you've decided that you were more about young players and value and stuff like that, I always find that a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, get your popcorn out for the season for these teams. And speaking of popcorn, what is your favourite Super Bowl snack? I'll start with you, LA. Super Bowl obviously tomorrow.
I mean, chicken wings gotta be at the top. But it's gotta be.
What's the sauce? What's the dip?
Well, now I go classic blue cheese. Chicken wings is now, but you have to get them right. It has to be good chicken wings. But look, I don't discriminate when it comes to a Super Bowl party. I mean, somebody fix a good guacamole, I'm all for it. Anything, honestly, anything. I'm in a Super Bowl party. Unless my team is playing, then I'm not going to the party. I'm just watching the game. That's another thing that I just don't like. If my team is playing, I want to watch the game. I don't care about all the other stuff going on around me. So I will tell my wife, babe, don't invite anybody. I just want to watch the game. If it is somebody else's team and somebody else's stress, then I'm all for it.
It's always somebody else's team.
Well, in my case, yes. In my case, it's been 30 years. So, yes, in my case, I have been attending a lot of Super Bowl parties.
Yes, so it doesn't matter that much for him in the end. Gab, best Super Bowl snack?
I was genuinely wondering about that, Ali. What were you, like 10 years old the last time your team was in the Super Bowl? I wonder what snacks you were eating then.
Let me just say I was a little older than that, but yes, it was a while back. It was a while back, Gav.
So the Super Bowl here kicks off very, very late because I'm in London. I'm a little bit like Alan. My team is in it. I don't like going to Super Bowl parties and being around people who, unless it's a small group of people who are legitimate fans of my team, the Philadelphia Eagles. And so that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Just a couple friends hunkered away, late night, in the silence, hopefully rejoicing after we put 50 on Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid.
And we'll
Sorry,
get to
Andy,
that in a minute.
this is our
But
time.
what's the snack? What's the snack, Gab? What's the snack of choice?
It's the middle of the night. Who's going to eat at like
What would it be?
after midnight? I mean,
What would it be if you were here?
if I were in Bristol, Connecticut,
Correct.
I guess I might join Ali in some wings. I like my beef jerky as well. Basic stuff. But you know what? It's not about the snacks, for me at least, when the Eagles are playing. Again,
Yeah,
somebody else, hey, I can take you on a whole culinary tour. But when my team's playing, I just want to focus on the game.
Well, shout out to my beautiful wife who can put together a mean charcuterie board. Man, let me tell you, she did it.
Melissa, I'm all about that. I'll
man.
be over anytime.
She did one for New Year's and babe, you come up. You come up, babe. I mean, it was something special.
Everyone loves the charcuterie board. Okay, Gab, last question. How are you feeling about your Eagles winning tomorrow? And who's going to be the Eagles MVP?
So in a perfect world, the Eagles MVP would be Brandon Graham, who, of course, after missing a huge chunk of the season with a torn bicep, he's back training. He's going to come back. I have no idea if he can play. He doesn't know if he can play. That would be sweet. I envision some sort of strip sack on Pat Mahomes late on. I am a little bit more realistic. I don't think it's going to be him. Likelier, I think it's going to be Jalen Hurts, actually. I know a lot of people would pick Saquon to run roughshod, but it's generally a quarterback, and I think, even though I wish it wouldn't be, I think it's actually going to be a close game. It's going to be about game management, and I think this is when Jalen steps up and he outsmarts Pat Mahomes. And how cool would it be if in the space of 7 years, we unleash whoop-ass on arguably the two greatest quarterbacks of the modern era? In 2017, of course, it was that Tom Brady guy. Don't know what happened to him. And this time, Pat Mahomes, no three-peat, send him back.
How cool would it be for whom? For you, Gab.
Although I have to say, Gab,
Eagles fan,
For
yes.
anyone.
yeah, but Gab, you
For
should be bringing
anybody.
it. Danny Higginbotham turned up today, Eagles cap, Eagles bowling jacket, the full shebang.
And
what about you?
And we get the 76ers in the background with a with that broken stuffed
Yeah,
animal.
it's not just that. In fact,
Oh, here we go. That's it.
I have my Eagles blanket here.
Yeah,
I have
there we go.
all sorts of gear. You don't want me to go through this. So anybody who watches the Gavin Jewell show knows that I have a full closet full, but I just thought I would be a little bit more discreet here, and I'm biased. But yes, I'm totally biased. And in fact, one of the things I struggle with is that I absolutely loathed Tom Brady and the New England Patriots for everything they did, everything they stand for, Belichick, all that stuff. Like, I really dislike them. However, it's hard to
Doesn't sound
dislike.
like you're harboring any issues or emotions here, Gab.
No,
You're okay.
it's really hard to dislike the Chiefs. Because, I mean, look, Travis Kelce's dating an Eagles fan, right? Andy Reid was our coach for many, many years. That Pat Mahomes guy, unlike Tom Brady, is actually generally likable. So, Kansas City, they have good barbecue. I mean, who's ever met somebody from Kansas City who you don't like? So, for all these reasons, I really cannot, I won't be driven by hate. I'll just be driven by wanting to beat them, score a lot of points, get this game done early in the third quarter, and I'm happy with that.
Let me give you a person that you can hate from Kansas City, Gab Marcotti, our producer, Pete Van Leer.
I think he always says he's from New York. He's from Kansas City.
Hey, he's from Kansas City tomorrow, apparently.
He was born there.
See?
He was born
There you go.
So, there you go. No, I like the Saturday sermon. No hate.
No
okay?
hate. I appreciate
No
it.
hate. We love the love and the vibes that you're bringing, Gab. Let's see if you're bringing those
Exactly.
vibes on
Let's all be
Monday.
positive.
Good luck tomorrow, Gab. Good luck, and thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
I'm trying to be positive. Belly cheat. What?
And then suddenly, but I
Those
don't
guys
want
are
to
just
hate.
horrible. Come on. Don't tell me you like them, Ali. I know you don't.
No, of course not. I got my own issues, Gab. I got my
Exactly.
own issues.
He has. All right.
How about them Cowboys? What?
We